In this video, I'm going to be breaking down the secret to moving on from heartbreak. So let's go into secret number one. Secret number one is to honor the ups and downs of the healing journey. Here's the thing. What most people think their healing journey is going to look like, let's say that this is the target where most people are trying to get to. That's a target, by the way, but that represents the target. Most people are trying to get to this destination of being completely healed. And they think that this is what the process of healing from heartbreak is going to be. It's just going to be a straight line. They're going to do some breath work. They're going to do some meditation. They're going to go to therapy. And within a few weeks or a few months, they're going to feel great. And they're going to be fully moved on. That is probably, keyword, probably, what it's not going to be like. What it's actually going to look like is something like this. You're going to go up and down and up and down, and you're going to feel great. And you're going to be like, I don't even miss them anymore. I'm going to the gym. I'm eating healthy. I'm looking good. I feel good when I look at myself in the mirror. And then all of a sudden, something happens. You hear a song. You see a restaurant that you used to go to. There's a smell, someone's cologne that someone is wearing, and it reminds you of them. And then you start missing them. So it's going to look a little bit like this. The reason why I like to break this down is because it normalizes the ups and downs of the whole entire process. When you don't want them back, when you don't miss them anymore, and then you start really missing them. It's all part of the process. So again, secret number one is to honor the healing process, the ups and downs of the healing journey. Let's go into secret number two. Now, secret number two is to know the difference between being healed and healing. When most people are trying to get to here, like this little target over here, what this actually means to be healed is to experience the opposite. Right? To heal is to experience the opposite. And that's going to look and feel completely different to multiple different people. For some people, to experience the opposite when they've moved on from a heartbreak, it might be to be in complete acceptance with what is. To no longer be in the pattern of trying to control the past and trying to wish things were different. And now they've just surrendered to how life actually is right now. And they wake up in the morning and they're no longer thinking of their ex-partner anymore because they're in complete acceptance. They're not trying to fight life. They're no longer in resistance to what is. But for other people, it may look and feel like being in complete gratitude of the breakup happening because maybe something else has happened in their life. Or maybe they learned something about themselves, which is going to set them up to be in a much more loving, healthier, and thriving relationship. So what it looks and feels like to people is going to be completely different. For me in the past, when I was healing from heartbreak, it looked like being in complete acceptance. And then after going into complete acceptance, later on going into complete gratitude. But we don't want to go into complete gratitude to bypass everything. If there's grief in your body, you get to honor that grief. We're going to come back to that point in a second. But it's important to remember that to heal is to experience the opposite. Healing means that you're going through this process here. Right? It's the ups and the downs. But what's really important to remember is if I was to just get rid of this for a second, right? What may happen is you might start feeling really, really great. So you're all the way up here, but then you dip really, really far down. And then you start feeling really, really great again. And then you start dipping really, really far down. And then you start feeling really, really great again. And then you start dipping back down and you start missing them. Now, here's a line that we want to also look at. So what may happen as you're healing, when you're dropping down, you still may drop down, but you may not drop down for as long and you may not drop down as deep, right? So you might start missing them, but you might not go into a spiral like you normally would 6 months ago, 7 months ago, when you started to go into a spiral and you start looking at all their photos and you just couldn't stop crying. And then you watch some romantic videos and you just couldn't stop missing them. But now you start missing them and you're like, you know what? I feel really sad and I really wish they were here. And at the same time, I can be with this. I'm no longer going to try to fight what is and get them back. I'm in acceptance. And at the same time, there is still some grief of me missing them here. So it's going to look a little bit like this. So remember that to heal is to experience the opposite. And the healing process is to remind yourself of the many wins that you experience along the way. Secret number three is to honor the healing timeline. One of the most common questions that I get whenever it is that I'm working with clients is, Matt, how long is it going to take for me to move on? And what I say to them is, it depends. I don't know how long it's going to take. For some people, it may take a month, 2 months, 3 months. For some people, it might take a year. There are so many different contributing factors that will determine whether someone will heal or not. Because if I come back to my iPad for a second, let's say that I have a broken bone. And let's say that with my broken leg, for example, I go to a physiotherapist and the physiotherapist prescribes to me certain exercises and I don't do them. And let's say I'm constantly moving my broken leg. And let's say that I'm eating crap and I'm drinking alcohol and I'm not getting a good amount of sleep. Well, how long it takes for me to heal my broken bone may look like this. Compared to, I go to a physiotherapist, I get the exercises, and I do all of them. I'm strengthening my leg. I'm getting great amount of sleep. I'm eating correctly. I'm doing everything needed in order for me to heal quickly. It's not going to take as long. I might get to that destination in half the time because I'm doing the work. So, how long does it take for you to heal from heartbreak? I don't really know. How much work are you going to put in? How much work are you going to put into the internal process in order for you to heal? In order for you to speed up the healing process, do not rely on time, because time doesn't heal. Time only assists in healing. It is the work that you're putting in in the timeline that will determine the speed of healing. Secret number 4 is to honor the grief. There is going to be a lot of grief that is pouring out of your body. So it is important to not numb, to not avoid, to not run away and hide from the emotions, to not suppress them, to not eat them away, to not sleep with other people. So then that way you don't feel the sadness in your heart. It's important to honor all of the emotions that emerge and remind yourself that as it is coming up, it is coming out. One of the hardest things that was challenging for me was allowing myself to feel my emotions. And a big part of that was the conditioning that I got as a man to, it's not okay to cry. It's weak if you cry. One of the most courageous things that anyone can do is, rather than run from their emotions, numb their emotions, avoid their emotions, suppress their emotions, is sit down in complete silence and allow any uncomfortable emotions to emerge and say, I am here. I am not going anywhere. You are welcome in my body. I'm not going to resist you. I'm not going to label you as bad or wrong or wish that you weren't showing up anymore. But all of you is welcome. So that is a reminder to honor what is going on in the body. And at the same time, it's also important to check in to see what is going on up here, just as much as it is important to see what is going on down here in the body. So this is where we go into secret number 5, which is to become aware of how the mind is deleting, distorting, and generalizing information. Here is what I mean by this. Haven't you noticed that when going through a breakup, either with this one or the one that you've gone through in the past, where the mind tends to delete all of the things that weren't so great about this person, or all of the things that weren't so great about the relationship, and it deletes all of that and then focuses on all of the amazing things about this person or about the relationship, all the amazing memories that you've had. That's pretty damn interesting, right? And also, the mind tends to generalize information. It generalizes the situation. It can create stories and meanings. So this is where we want to become aware of any generalizations that we're making, such as, I'm never going to find someone else like them. I'm going to be single forever. I'm going to be alone forever. So this is how you can move through that. Number 1, the power of questions. Anytime that your mind is deleting, when I was going through a breakup, I would constantly have as a reminder, what is it that my brain is deleting right now that I get to remember? And whenever I asked that question, I was looking at, oh yeah, you know what? My brain is deleting the things that weren't so great about this person and how we weren't compatible. And what I get to remember is how I also am creating space for someone else who is so much more compatible for me to show up in my life. But also the power of questions as it relates to the generalizations that we make. So some questions you can ask yourself if you catch your mind saying, I'm never going to find someone else like them. There's no one else who is going to be more loving than them. Is ask the most important question, which is that an absolute truth? Do I know with 100% certainty that I'm never going to find someone else like them? No, I don't know that actually. It's not an absolute truth. It's just an assumption that my mind is making. It's just a story that my mind is making. I know it feels true, but that doesn't mean that it is true. So yes, you know what? It's not an absolute truth. Okay, well, what new possibilities would open up for me if I stopped buying into that story? Wow, what new possibilities would open up? Well, I feel like I would feel a lot more free. I feel a lot more excitement as though as it relates to how it is that I'm portraying my future. I would feel like I would not be so stressed out. I feel like I could sleep a lot better knowing that there is better to come in the future. That sounds pretty damn awesome. So you can see that through the power of questions and questioning your assumptions that your brain has made up can be so powerful. It can dissolve these assumptions that are just creating so much limitation in your life with the way that you think, feel, and behave. I've created courses which can help you to heal from heartbreak even quicker, which I'll leave down below, and also that will help you to find and attract your dream partner. And that can be really supportive with the journey that you're on right now. So I'll leave that down in the description. Hopefully this video has helped. So subscribe if you haven't already and comment down below what was your biggest takeaway. And with that said, I'll see you in the next video.